Hello everyone and welcome to Crowley House. Today I'm going to take you for a quick little tour through my personal garden, which I like to call the cool garden. It's a garden that I've started about 3 years ago and it's a work in progress like all gardens are. So I'm excited to show you this morning. Got my coffee and it's beautiful out this morning. I hear there's rain coming in later today, so I just wanted to jump on this and give you kind of a restful garden tour here in the spring. It's beautiful. It's one of my favorite times of the year here in my little garden. Okay, well, I was gonna start by showing you, we have this clump of tansy, which tansy can be kind of one of those things that can be invasive in some areas of the country. This particular variety gets really tall, beautiful, yellow, round-headed blooms later in the summer, and I use it mainly in mixed bouquets. I hear that you can use the foliage or leaves for, you know, like a medicinal tea. It helps with like stomach issues, that kind of thing, but I've also heard that it can kill you. So I kind of just use it as a full, just a beautiful like cut flower. This has also been known to use in textiles, so, you know, dyeing fabrics and that kind of thing. So I thought maybe it'd be kind of fun sometime to go ahead and do something that, you know, like with ribbons or something like that for a bridal bouquet. So we'll see. I might get to that. There's always 101 things on the list. Okay, so behind it, which I will probably have to move this at some point. This is a blooming Daphne and it's just finishing. They have the most sweetest blooms ever. They're pink, gorgeous, they're shade loving, and they start to bloom in January. So it's just when that time of year where you just need a little bit of a reminder that the garden is a place of rest and beauty. This starts to put on a show. It's got that beautiful scent that just really helps, and it's right next to our front door. So again, it's lovely. Sarcoccus has a little white flower that kind of underneath the leaves. This is shade loving as well. Beautiful, beautiful foliage. We do use this as well for cut foliage. So these are some woodland hyacinths. They are just a beautiful pop of blue. I love that. I got these plants for free and I just tucked them all through the garden. Just point back at me. So I got these free, which was really cool, and I just popped them through the garden. And I love how that repetitive blue goes through. I was going to talk about this gem here, which is a lilac. So we do grow quite a bit of lilac on our farm. We use it as a cut flower. I know a lot of people say like, ooh, my lilacs tend to wilt in the vase. The key is to make sure you pull off most all the foliage and maybe just leave a tiny bit of foliage on, and then they'll last. This lilac is one that I took a cutting from. There's a farm down, or not a farm, a schoolhouse down the road. It was built back in the 50s, I believe. And behind it has this big old lilac tree. And so I just took a little cutting from the bottom, you can do that, and planted it here because I felt like it's growing really well there. And it's an abandoned schoolhouse, which I would love to buy some year, but alas, that has not happened. So this is just a little mother plant or baby plant from it. So that's super fun. I love doing that. Good morning, Stella. The cats are always interested in when we're filming. They tend to come around. All the birds this morning. Okay. So I have this beautiful heuchera here. And I have several different ones. I don't know the names always of them, but they are just gorgeous. I love that dark, deep purple leaf. Solomon seal, beautiful. And if you can see, you got a little bit of the flower starting to come on. This we use as a cut flower as well. So the Solomon seal is really fun. That's something we use in floral design all the time. This is my own personal small stash, which I can propagate and make more of later. I've been working really hard to grow this on, but it's super fun. It's got kind of like a tropical type foliage leaf that kind of bends over with these white bell flowers that kind of hang down. Almost like Love Lies Bleeding. It's really pretty. So I paired that with, this is going to be a woodland fern that's going to come up. We just bought this. It's a little not happy with me. I need to cut back the foliage. This is the time of year you want to do that. And then you have the new fronds starting in. So this is called Gem, and it is part of the marigold family. We do use this as a cut flower. This is the peach one. We also have an orange as well. I'm not sure the full name of that, but I love it with the blues. Just pairing the blues and the burgundies and the purples all together. Love it. So we have some of that. You can see that this is new to the garden this year. So I've done some alliums, which are the big, tall, purple alliums that are going to kind of come up here, and then paired against a whole bunch of, there's different shades of deep blue, purple, and kind of a peachy colored iris.
Train's
coming. Here comes a plane.
All right, let's go.
Okay, we're just gonna do it.
Let me see.
Okay, so this year I had all those tulips left over, and so I just picked any of the purple varieties that would look really, really good with the blues, and then kind of repeating those colors over and over. So I planted a little row here along the side of the secondary. I call this, like, I split this garden into two because it's easier for me to manage that way. It's more of my, like, Jason just stepped on a plant. This is my husband and I's date this morning. We've got our coffee, got the camera. Anyways, he doesn't think it's a date. I love it. Okay, so mixing the blues and the purples and keeping those repetitive colors. We do that with events as well when we're trying to get a bigger look. And I think it's just very restful to have just kind of light colors that work really well together. So I plant more on colors than I do like knowledge of plants. We have a jogger. We never have joggers.
I think he's getting tired. His steps are heavy. Beth, what is this over here?
What are you talking about? Oh, that is called candy tuft. Now I have this. This is also called an iris that I pulled up.
It's called out of the ground.
Out of the ground, yeah. So I've got some lilies that are coming up. These are really pretty. They are kind of a deep, deep burgundy color. And then this blooms in the spring. It smells really, really good. I had it growing up as a kid. Just, it reminds me of that. And I love the white. Yesterday, the moon was out and it just kind of made this garden kind of pop and come alive, which I love that, you know, moon gardens. I don't have one, but this is kind of my I guess, fix for that. So, did I talk about
that
iris?
little flower there, that's a candied tuft?
It's called the candy tuft.
Okay, what's this purple one right here?
Oh, this is really pretty. You can see some other ones over here that are kind of blooming. They've kind of got a white edge tulip to it. Yeah. So I have this mixed in with some irises. These irises were a gift from Shriner's Iris Gardens. I'll link them below. This is not a paid advertisement, but they have amazing irises. If you haven't checked out their gardens, if you live here in the Pacific Northwest, amazing, amazing gardens. So when I first started flower farming, they gifted me with a whole bunch of irises, and I think there was probably 50 to 100. And so this is just my part of them. They're kind of like a peach and blues, a light blue, a deep blue, just kind of like a purpley blue kind of color. Really, really pretty. So those will start showing up here shortly in May. Super fun. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my secondary garden here. So breaking it up is helpful for me in my head when I'm designing. So, let me get a good spot. So this plant here is, I grew this from seed. It looks okay. This is a euphorbia. So we use euphorbia a lot in our mixed bouquets. Those are different varieties. This is more of a ground cover type euphorbia. And so I'm just letting it drop its seed and do its thing, and hopefully we'll get this kind of mixed through here and just kind of growing. I can probably propagate it, that kind of thing. It's super fun. I love the little heads on it. There's so many different euphorbias. So also in this garden, we have some ferns coming up. You can see the little fronds we've cut back. This is the time of year you definitely want to cut back all the old foliage from that. We've got some hostas. We have some more alliums. So I have some of this Brunaria, which is kind of looks like a forget-me-not. It's called Jack Frost. This is the smaller leaf. I'd love to get some of the larger leafed ones. They are frost hardy in a lot of areas, so this one is a great one to grow. This will kind of fill out. I'd just love to get a few more though of the different, like they have larger leafed ones. I don't know the names of them, but anyways, I love how it's paired up against this kind of beautiful white. It's creamy, kind of white and green tulip. And then set against this Fertilia, this deep Fertilia. And this Fertilia, this is new here in the garden. So next year, hopefully, if the slugs don't get it, we'll get more and more coming up. And I love how that repeats with the heuchera, the deep burgundy of the heuchera. And then you get this. It's really fun. Okay. So I have a little bit of a grape hyacinth coming on. This is a light blue. It's starting to fade actually. I have another variety over on the other side that's a deeper blue. It's kind of like a two-toned. It's got the light blue at the top and deep blue at the bottom. And love that. That's like an early spring before these alliums get going, that kind of thing. So what else do I have? Pieris is new to us. So this is a purple Pieris. We do use this as a cut foliage for arrangements and that kind of thing. I put 3 of them in. They're kind of close together, but I want them to grow up like a tree because we have these plums behind us that are just kind of wild plum, and we need to cut those back eventually. And so I want to create some sort of barrier between the gravel road and this garden. And so I'm going to have these kind of growing up and almost touching each other. So it's years from now, but in my head, that's what I want. If not, I'll move it. I can come to you. So this is kind of a, I don't know, I've set these stones in place, and I know in our last video we showed where we had the stones pretty close together, and I decided to go ahead and put some Irish moss between them because I thought that that would look amazing. So I got all these Irish mosses for $1. I found them for $1. And so I'm gonna plant them. You're supposed to plant them about 12 inches apart. So I've got to lay those out and then plant them in and finish putting down some of this bark mulch that we started on yesterday with Braden. Again, here is a new fern to us. I've just kind of spotted things through pretty well. Some more heucheras. I love adding things like a little stone here, which just kind of helps ground an area or give me a place to like kind of work around. I don't know, it just makes it a little bit easier. I don't know how you guys feel about it. So we have, this is some lady's mantle. If you don't have lady's mantle in your garden, it is a fun one. You can see how in the mornings the dew from just the air or rain holds so beautiful, and that is one of the show parts. It just looks like little diamonds. And then in the summertime it gets this really airy yellow flower right here. I have some daisies, which I'm not sure if I'm going to keep them here, but we have some daisies that are the white and yellow type. We have a Sarah Barnhart, which is a peony just coming up. That one is kind of a light pink color. And then you can kind of see going back, we've got the sauna, we've got a few more of the alliums, and just repeating some of the flowers and textures through here. So this is that hyacinth that I was talking about that has the two-tone to it. It's super pretty. Isn't that fun? So this little garden is kind of one of those things that I've talked about it before, but it's a must-have on the farm. When you're planting for other people, you're cutting for other people, that kind of thing, you just need something that is your own, that, you know, if you decide you want to cut something and share it with somebody, you can, but if not, it's just something that looks beautiful all the time. There is a place for a cutting garden. I have that. It's out further in the farm. That's what we do for a living. But here in my little front garden, the cool garden is what I'm calling it. It's just, you know, it's just for me to play with. So I love it. And I love coming out here, especially Sunday afternoons, just putzing, adding things, changing things, digging things up, sharing it with friends if I have extra somethings to share. And yeah, just kind of thinking it through and watching it change, because that's what the cool part is this changes from kind of these blues and purples and whites and, you know, the deeps of the heucheras and that kind of thing to kind of more of a hot garden. So more into the oranges and yellows and whites and, you know, beautiful things like that. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope, you know, I would love to see some of your gardens, but anyways, this I was happy to share this with you guys, and yeah, it'll be cool.